the way they push the puberty blockers today and the social transitioning as though it's a nothing without disclosing the very serious, severe path you're putting your kid on. Social transitioning will lead in virtually all cases to puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, in virtually all cases. So it is a very big deal if you socially transition your child, meaning start calling her a him or by a male name or let them start dressing as the opposite sex. And that's what these schools are doing in private without the parents' knowledge, as we just discussed. Miguel Cardona falsely saying, oh, it's up to our investigators whether they want to investigate. Well, weirdly, they don't at all. In fact, these policies are in place at school after school and they don't give a damn. So the social transitioning happens, but can you just spend a minute on the physical ramifications? Because I've seen this happen with young girls who are just confused about something, or they have autism, or they have ADHD. And before you know it, they're on testosterone, and it has some very dark effects on the body. And I do want to get graphic because it's important that people hear it, because they won't tell you this on CBS.
No, they won't. And for that reason, I'm going to share something that I learned about from one of the young female detransitioners in my book. She told me about bottom growth, and it's horrible, and it's definitely TMI to share this. But when you take testosterone as a girl, it has an effect on your genitalia. And what these pro-trans websites will tell you is that you're going to grow male genitalia. You're going to grow a penis. Well, obviously, that's impossible. That's never going to happen. You're a woman. You're not going to ever grow a penis. But when you're taking testosterone, it is going to affect your genitalia. And so things are going to enlarge and they're going to become very uncomfortable. It's not a good thing in any way. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. One of the young women in my book described it to me. She said she couldn't even wear underwear because it was so painful. And if you look on these pro-trans websites, they'll give you graphics and try and show you the progression. It's a bull-faced lie. They'll show you graphics of pictures of your supposed male genitalia growing. That's not how it happens. It grows a little bit and it's painful and it doesn't go back. But that's just one of the lies that these girls are being sold. Another one is that the testosterone has an effect on your body, but it's not going to ultimately make you look like a man. It's going to alter your appearance. You're going to lose hair where you might want it. You're going to grow hair where you might not want it. It's going to be thicker. Your bone density is going to change. Your voice is going to change. You're going to lose the ability to scream for a lot of girls, which is terrifying, especially because many of them are victims of sexual assaults. One girl told me that she lost the ability to sing. This was Prisha, one of the girls in the book. Prisha had a really high operatic voice. She liked to sing Phantom of the Opera. Once she started taking testosterone, she just started realizing she was losing the ability. It's like, it almost reminds me, Megyn, of the Little Mermaid, when the girl's voice gets stolen by Ursula, the bad witch. That was what I thought of when Prisha was telling me this story. And in the same dramatic, horrifying way, she wants to sing and she can't anymore. She wants to scream and she can't anymore. And these are things that as they're taking the testosterone, they're still being told that this is a good thing, that, they're on their way to transition. They can surgically transition soon. And so they're thinking, okay, well, this is kind of freaking me out, but I'm going to continue with this because I'm told that this is good for me. But it's unsettling. It's disturbing. And another aspect of it that's not talked about a ton is the emotional changes that a lot of these girls experience on testosterone. Helena describes at length how she would just go into these rages that she had never experienced before, just testosterone rage. It got to the point where her dad would have her go outside and chop wood so that she could have some kind of outlet to get all this pent-up rage out. She had never experienced anything like this before. Similarly, she said she had this intense sexual urges that she had never had before. And what a bunch of these girls likened it to was going through puberty as a boy, but when you're not a boy and no one is going to be able to understand that, and you also aren't having a full male puberty because that's never going to happen because you're a girl. So just all these really disturbing emotional and physical effects on these girls' bodies. And for the boys that take estrogen, it's a whole other animal. The fat redistribution happens for both, right? You take testosterone, your body's going to redistribute your fat. But for a boy taking estrogen, that feels very weird physically to have your fat redistribute to your hips and more to your chest. The hair loss is significant for the boys who are on estrogen. The voice changes. One guy who was on estrogen told me that he felt like he had the ability to multitask. I don't know if he himself said he's not sure if that was in his head or not, but it was something that he felt like he was having a little bit more access to, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but all of these effects, they come with the physical effects that are ultimately very draining. And then some of these people told me that, for example, when you stab yourself with a needle to give yourself testosterone, they started developing a really severe aversion to doing that, combined with all the effects that they knew were coming from it. And then just the needle itself, they were realizing that this act was just such an aversion to them that they had to stop.
The guy who was multitasking, did he also become a bad driver? Did he what? What's in that shot?
I know.
The things that you're outlining, I've heard many of these, and it's dark. I remember Abigail Schreier, when she had launched her book, we talked about irreversible damage, and she was saying, forgive me, audience, but basically, at best, what a girl could grow out of her clitoris is a baby carrot, something akin to that. Now, nobody is ever going to want to have a sexual interlude with that, other than a freak. I mean, so you're freakifying yourself, not disclosed in it's just a harmless social transition / pause where you're definitely going to go into cross-sex hormones, and this could happen to you. The other thing is the boys. Okay, so let me stay on the girls for one more second. So they stop their puberty where all this estrogen is about to flood their bodies. That's what's supposed to happen. And instead of that happening, they lose all that estrogen, and there are serious repercussions for bone growth and strength for these girls. There have been tests that IQs go down for girls and boys who take these puberty blockers and then into the hormones. And then on the boys' side, when they take the puberty blockers, they freeze their penis development into a little boy's penis. And so if they detransition, it's something that they're basically stuck with, like a micro penis in a lot of the cases. And so these girls and boys don't know. They have no idea that's what they're taking on.
Right. And that's something that I found incredibly upsetting as I was writing this book, because, Megyn, this was emotional. I spent so many hours on the phone talking to all of these people, and some of them would cry with me as they were sharing some of these really vulnerable, intimate stories. I would cry with them. And I have a lot of siblings, so just imagining these young people going through these things and being lied to in this way is just so infuriating. But for example, Chloe Cole had never had sex or had any kind of sexual encounter when she made the decision to go on puberty blockers or begin her transition. And that's mind-boggling that all of this is being shoved on someone who's never had any kind of sexual intimate moment before. How is a little girl supposed to know any of that when she has never even held hands with a boy?
That is such a good point. That's such a good point. She hasn't even had her first kiss, and they literally chopped off Chloe's breasts.
They did. And when she began taking testosterone and the hormones, she had no idea whether she wanted to have kids. She was a little girl. She hadn't really thought about it. She hadn't really thought about whether she wanted to breastfeed. She hadn't really thought about whether she wanted to have a family. These are all things that we might think about, but as a little girl, it's not on the mind all the time. And something that I wanted to bring up in relation to that very topic is, because I found this really fascinating, Chloe and I kind of deep dived into her reasons for being interested in transgender ideology in the first place. And something that I think a lot of us in the political world don't have a good grasp on, but I'm sure you do, Megyn, as a woman, is the effect that Instagram has on girls and their perceptions of womanhood and femininity. So Chloe was telling me she was like 13 13 when she got on Instagram for the first time. And she's seeing all these depictions of womanhood, these like very sexy, voluptuous, sensual women who have millions of men in their following. And they get so much male affirmation for the basically soft porn photos that they post of themselves all day. And so she's seeing these representations of womanhood and thinking, I don't think I can be that. That's very daunting. I don't know how to do that. I don't look like that. And then at the same time, as a little girl on the internet, she's being exposed to pornography, which is something that many of the detransitioners I talked to said they were exposed to at a young age. And so in the pornography, we know that women are degraded and humiliated and treated in a really horrible fashion. So she's seeing, on the one hand, the women treated horribly in these scenarios, and on the other hand, these like really aggressively sexual depictions of women on social media. And she's thinking, A, I don't want that, the depictions in pornography. One girl told me that doesn't look fun, looks fun for the guys, not for the girls. And B, I don't think I can ever achieve that. I can't be that sexy. I don't know how to do it. And so when you have that combined with these ideologists saying, oh, you don't feel like you fit in, you feel lonely, you don't really like hanging out with girls, obviously you're a boy, you're trans. That's just, it's too easy. It's too simple.
If you think you're trans, you're trans. That's it.
Exactly.
You have the thought.
Exactly.
You are.
And all
it's
all the memes, they all say, if you think you're trans, you're trans, or, all the affirmations. If your parents aren't affirming you, they hate you. If your friends aren't affirming you, they hate you. Be with people who love you. All of that on social media, it's like catnip for a lonely person or someone who doesn't fit in.
All of whom, Mary Margaret, will abandon them as soon as they have second thoughts. As soon as like Chloe was like, I don't know if it's a big middle finger, F off. You were never really trans. You're out of our club, our cult, as you accurately call it.
Yes. No, and it really is a cult because, like you were saying, there's this love bombing and this insistent determination to bring everyone, as many people as possible, into the fold. And then when these people desist, or the detransitioners dare to say, actually, I had a really horrible experience here and I'm suffering mentally and physically and I need help, those people are told that they are gaslighters, that they are betrayers, that they obviously never were part of the trans community, and they're just thrown out. And the saddest part is they're thrown out and they don't really have anywhere to go. The doctors today are such cowards that they are not willing to put their reputations on the line and help people like Prisha and Chloe who have complications from their experimental transitions and they need help.
As we draw near another critical election, it's not just about casting your vote. It's about elevating your voice. I want to tell you about the Association of Mature American Citizens, or AMAC. This is more than just a senior discount organization. They unite like-minded patriots committed to preserving our cherished values and actively opposing the leftist agenda. As AMAC's membership grows, Washington listens. Every new member strengthens this movement. If you love America, check out amac.us/Megyn. It's amac.us/MEGYN, and consider becoming a 4-year member for just $30. Best money you've ever spent. AMAC membership gives you access to the AMAC magazine, free Social Security and Medicare guidance, money-saving discounts, trusted news, sweepstakes, and more. Take advantage of their election year sale, 4 years for just $30 by joining the over 2 million members and get your voice heard. Join now at amac.us/Megyn. That's amac.us/MEGYN. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.